Welcome back to Code Hive, the place where we make it work, make it right, and make it fast. So in the previous video, we looked at what stored procedures are. We looked at two types. We looked at the first one, which was a stored procedure that did not contain parameters, and then the second one that we talked about was a stored procedure that was taking in one parameter, right? So in this video, we're going to be talking about a stored procedure that has multiple parameters, right? So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to just be taking in two parameters, but you can take in three, you can take in four, but for this video, it will be just based on two parameters. Okay, so basically, to create a stored procedure with multiple parameters, you will list every parameter, right? So the parameter name along with the data type. And in order to separate the multiple parameters, you are going to put a comma to show that you're separating the multiple parameters. So let us look at the syntax. So the first thing is your create, and then your procedure, and then what do you want to call this procedure name? So in this example, it's select all customers, and then your parameter. So your parameter name, your parameter data type, and then you put a comma to indicate that you are now about to declare or specify the second parameter. So the second parameter name, postal code, and then the data type. As select all from customers, and then your condition. So where city is equals to the city parameter and postal code is equals to the postal code parameter. Okay, so this could have easily had three parameters. So the difference between this stored procedure with multiple parameters and the previous one that we looked at in the other video, so if you haven't looked at that, please do check it out. So the difference is that the other one was taking in one parameter. So in your where condition, so your condition in the where statement, you only had one condition. So in this case, because we're taking in two parameters, our condition contains two conditions. Our where statement contains two conditions. Okay, so it will all just make sense, like I always say, when we look at an example. So let us look at an example where we talk about stored procedures with multiple parameters. Okay, so let us look at an example. Okay, so like the previous table, I'm still using my employees table that you will find right over there. So the first thing that you need to say is your create statement. So create, what are we creating? We are creating a procedure. And then what will the procedure be called? So I want to call it employees at work. Okay. So now the first parameter that I want to take in is the emp surname, like in my previous example. And then you have your data type. Okay. And then comma. And then the second parameter that I want to take is emp ID. Okay. And then again, your data type. Oops. Okay, cool. So create procedure, name of the procedure, parameter 1, right? So parameter 1, then the data type, comma, parameter 2, data type. Okay, as, then select all from my employees table. Okay, so select all from my employees table, and now your condition. So where the employee surname in my employees table is equals to my parameter. Okay, so that's the first condition. The second condition that I want is where my employee ID in my employees table is equals to my parameter. Okay, so that is that for a procedure with multiple parameters. So let me quickly go through it again. So create procedure, name of your procedure, parameter 1 with its data type. Then you put a comma to indicate that another parameter is to follow. Then your second parameter, and then the data type. As select everything from employees table, so from your table where the employee surname in my employees table is equals to my parameter, and my employee ID, right, is equals to my parameter employee ID. So this is how you create a procedure with multiple parameters. In this case, there's 2 parameters. So if we just execute this, so once we execute, then we can see that it says that it has been completed successfully. So now how do we display the data? Okay, so like I said in the previous video, in order to execute, you will say exec. Please don't forget to like this video, to leave a comment, as well as subscribe. Okay, so exec, and then your name of the name of your procedure. Okay, so name of your procedure, but now because it's erroring out, it needs to take in an employee surname and employee ID parameter. So for the emp surname, okay, so for the emp surname, let's say we want the employee where the surname is Brown, okay, and then at emp ID is equals to emp 102. Okay, so what we are doing is we are executing our employees at work procedure, which is the procedure that we just created over there. And then we are executing and we want to find the information where the employee surname, the parameter that we're taking in, is equals to Brown, and the emp ID, the parameter that we're taking in, oops, this should be a capital letter, is equals to emp 102. Okay, so if we execute this, then we should see the results. So employee ID, employee name, employee surname, as well as date of birth. For the employee ID, where it's 102 and the employee surname is 10, and the employee surname is Brown. Okay, so if we wanted this to be emp 101, for example, where the surname is Smith, right, and we execute this, it will show us the employee that has an ID of 101 as well as a surname of Smith. Then it will show us all that information from the employees table. So this is how you use a procedure that has multiple parameters. So I'll just go through it one more time. So create procedure, procedure name, parameter name, parameter data type, comma, parameter name, parameter data type. As select everything from your table where the employee surname in the employees table is equals to the parameter that you're taking in, and the employee ID in your employees table is equals to the employee ID that you're taking in as a parameter. And then you execute, and then you put in your values over there. So this is how you use a stored procedure with multiple parameters.